Hello, this is the
Uh,
All About Test version 2 commentary. My name is Evan.
yeah, hi, I'm the CUNY.
The project history. This project was started somewhere around 2022, technically, because the project died immediately in the end of 2022. I started a project when doing the lamp walk skip to the auto skip. I thought I could finish the project, but it was too difficult back then, so the project got abandoned pretty soon. Then I think somewhere around August 2025 or July 2025, Lacuni started working on another test, so we can combine some of the old segments, mainly O 9 or an 11, 10 and 11 together to make the version 2 of our test and release in 2026, the 10th anniversary of the old version 1 out of bounds test.
Yeah, so this run is an any percent run or an out of bounds run, which means that all glitches are allowed and we are allowed to leave the boundaries of the map. So this makes for a very fast-paced and confusing looking run. Also, it is worth mentioning that this run is performed on version 3420. Which is a extremely old version of the game from 2008, I believe. And we use this because it has a few advantages, such as having free out of bounds movement, and it allows for some extra glitches, such as infinite sensitivity, to be used, which we will talk more about later. But it also has a pretty unique advantage that it allows us to preserve the vault radio to chamber 2, which is only possible on very old versions and very modern versions. And so obviously this one was used instead of the modern ones. Yeah, I think we can just get started with
Yes,
the run. Unless you have anything else to say.
yeah. So starting from September.
Anyway, so this is the start of the run. Here's my name tag. So we start off by grabbing the radio, and immediately what we do is we throw it on the floor so it turns around. So now the first glitch of the run is going to happen, which is infinite sensitivity. So I can open the game and demonstrate this. So in Portal, you have a sensitivity slider, right, in mouse. You can input it manually here, and there's actually no upper bound to what you can set this to. So using the sensitivity command.
Only on older versions.
Oh yeah, only on.
Only on older version there's no overall. Yeah.
Yeah. So we can set it to something insanely huge, and some cool things are gonna happen. So my entire screen went black there.
Yeah.
Um,
You can do it on the setting menu instead of the console. So that's very legit thing to do.
yep. So basically, we have a bind that we call plus SW, and so this is a combination of the command plus strafe, which does this usually. So I'm moving my mouse right now.
It's also bindable from the menu.
Yep. So when you combine plus strafe with this, which we call infinite sensitivity, you can get stuck in midair. You can move around like this. And when you touch props, some cool things are going to happen. So one of the main advantages is that we can get item save glitch, which we will probably talk about later. Anyway, yeah. So what I do here is I press my infinite sensitivity strafe bind in such a way that when I uncrouch, part of my hitbox will enter the radio. And what that does is it breaks like a part of the physics engine, which is going to allow us to do this. So right now I just grabbed the cup and I throw it on the clipboard. And you can see that the cup is inside of the desk. This is item save glitch. It allows props to go through walls. It also has some other properties, such as allowing us to clip downwards and clip upwards, like this.
In this sequence, we're actually doing continuous saving and loading, but we cut off the saving and loading so the video is more pleasant to watch.
Yeah. Also, the saving and loading is not timed, even though in RTA runs they are about 1 second each. So we use game time. So what happens is we keep up clipping, so we go out of bounds, and we do a void clip here.
Each clipping is a save load.
Yeah. So this is just a bunch of save loads. We have aimed ourselves in a way that we enter the elevator from underneath, like that. And also, due to item save glitch, we can bring the radio through the floor, which is pretty cool. So this chamber is pretty fast, obviously, but there is one improvement that could potentially be made. So instead of doing all of this, a router called Hire, who found a lot of these glitches, found a different way to do it.
This entire thing are found by higher.
Yeah. So basically, this is one of the routes that Hire came up with that I tasked but couldn't get to work in time. So here the idea is that you see this little yellow box. When that goes inbounds, then I will teleport to that yellow box. So the idea was to get it to clip underneath the elevator. But I didn't have enough height for it, so it didn't work. Also, this uses sheeted in ISG, so you would have to figure out a way to get item save glitch as well. But if this was possible, then it would probably save a second or two.
Do you want to talk about the 2K velocity thing here or in 08?
I think we can talk about it in 08 because this map is pretty long already.
Yeah. So here we probably want to explain the crowd trigger, so we can trigger the elevator from underneath. We'll use that a lot. Okay, so now we're under the elevator. We basically jump here. In Portal, if we jump, we'll crouch automatically. And there's something in Source Engine called crowd trigger. Basically, when you crouch, the collision detection code probably have did something incorrect. So it'll trigger the trigger above you for a few units. I think there's a video explaining it made by Curly Howe. Um, yeah, so we can jump here and basically do a crowd trigger to triggering the elevator. We'll use this a lot in other maps to trigger the elevator underneath, so we can do something else later. If we are trapped in the elevator, we basically can't go anywhere. But if we are underneath, there's a portable surface under the elevator, so we can use it to port out. Of course, here we'll just stay under the elevator since we don't have the portal gun yet.
So after we have activated the elevator, we just sit here. This is another use case of infinite sensitivity, so we can stay in midair, so we just set up a glitch that we are going to do now, called a prop origin warp, which looks like this. So, let me show you. So this is chamber 2, right? And this is where we start. And we have the radio here. And this is where the portal gun is. So coincidentally, if you look at my coordinates up here, you will see that the origin of the map, which is the position 000, is really close to the portal gun, and Higher discovered a way that you can go to the origin of any map using just a prop and infinite sensitivity. So basically, by touching a prop with infinite sensitivity and then letting that prop touch you, you will go to the origin of the map, which is what we do in the run.
Do you know how you keep the radio? Since the radio literally fades through the walls and floor. I have no idea how that works.
Yeah, okay, so this is what the glitch would look like normally when people do it in runs. So you would go here, do this, and you would drop it on top of you, right? And the radio is gone. However, what we do in the TAS is we do a variation of this where we grab it from behind. It didn't work there because this is really precise. But essentially, if you grab it from behind so that it touches you from behind and you're still holding it, then it will teleport you to the origin while you still hold the radio. I can't get it to work, but yeah, that's the idea anyway. I'm not too sure how it works, but I think it's just
Yeah.
that you literally just keep holding
There are a
it.
few frames the radio that fades through the floor.
Sorry?
Yeah, there are a few frames the radio facing through the floor, right? For some reason. That's basically how the glitch behave. Kind of weird.
Yeah. Um, yeah. So now we are here, and we can grab the portal gun. Before we do that, we throw the radio over to this portal. That will be useful later. So now comes the first instance of A-hops, which is a way of moving really quickly in this game. So this is what it looks like. Essentially, the the developers of this game tried to patch bunny hopping, which is present in some older games and Portal 2. However, they did that in a way that enables another glitch called AFH, ABH, and ASH, standing for accelerated forward hopping, accelerated back hopping, and accelerated side hopping.
To be
Um,
honest, they're not really want to fetch B hopping. They are actually want to add a small jump boost, but in the old engine, halfway to, if you just continue holding W and jump, you'll go faster and faster. And they actually want to patch that, so they change the way to add a small jump boost every jump, but ended up doing it incorrectly, so we got ABH.
right, I did not know that actually. So that's pretty cool. Anyway, yeah, so okay, so I'll just show the entirety of the rest of the map and then I will explain it afterwards.
You are now in possession of the Aperture Science handheld portal device. With it, you can create your own portals. These interdimensional
Yeah,
gates have
probably
So
been
about
here.
there. Yeah, so that was chamber 2. Now, so after this A hop that we have timed pretty perfectly, so we enter the portal as soon as possible. We're going to turn around.
Yeah, this map is basically on a timer. We are waiting for the orange portal to open.
Yeah. So what I do here is I look to the left and I shoot right in between these two walls. So essentially what happens is just that we shoot through a non-existent gap. So while it may look like there is a physical gap, this is actually a miscalculation in the code um, that I am not that knowledgeable on. There is a video by
Don't worry, we'll
Cursyhow.
link the video in the description. There's a
Yes,
pretty good explanatory video, also made by Portal 2 people.
yeah, they're very smart. But yeah, this is a seam shot. It allows us to shoot out of bounds. So we're gonna do a portal peek here. A portal peek is a piece of tech that we use a lot in speedruns that abuses the fact that portals take time to land. So as you can see, it takes quite a while for a portal to land, and we can abuse this mechanic. So while it is still in the air, we can go through the portal that we were standing in to get to where we are shooting extremely quickly, like that. So that is what we use here. So we peek off this out of bounds wall, and we then peek to underneath the elevator of O3, which is here. So now comes a new glitch called a PQR, Portal Quick Reentry. So this is abuse of a mechanic in the game called Find Closest Passable Space, or FCPS for short. There is a...
There's a 2-hour video explaining it. We'll link in the description.
Yep. Uncrafted does a great job of explaining how all of these pieces of tech work. But essentially, in practice, we use it to go from out of bounds to inbounds from a ceiling portal, where a ceiling portal means that it is a portal that is underneath a floor like this, which is the
Or
case
above
of
the
this.
wall. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's a PBR, I think.
Oh, yeah, it have a different name.
Yeah.
Basically, when the portal closes, it'll try to move the player to an inbound location, and the nearest inbound location will be under the elevator, or if you put a
Yeah.
portal under the elevator.
So in human runs, it looks like this, which is the exact same thing we do here. And we immediately activate the elevator. And we just pass through the portal here. And now we're on a 14-second timer. Because from when you activate an elevator or enter it, it'll take 14 seconds until it is at the top and the next map loads. So we have 14 seconds to do whatever we want to do, which is setting up for the next map. So I should have portal on this wall. This is for a glitch called save glitch. I won't talk about
You do
this.
Robbie here or Dark Secret?
This is duck save glitch. I won't really be talking about this glitch a lot here because we will get into it later in the run. But the main use of it here is that it allows us to walk through walls. So essentially, by save loading at a perfect tick while crouching, when there's a portal above us, in a configuration like this sort of. So right now, I am in the portal, like I'm in the portal bubble, we call this. Let me show that. So you can see this like box around the portal. And when I'm inside of it, the game applies some interesting physics that makes certain walls and floors become non-solid. When I crouch, I will no
You
longer
can
be in
show
it.
the collision command.
Yeah, I can turn on some commands. Yeah. Actually, SPT draw.
No, not this one.
What is it? SPT.
Portal environment. Draw portal environment. Portal EMP.
Yeah, this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, if there's color, it'll be solid. If there's no color, it'll be not solid when you have state glitch.
Yeah. So basically, we get save glitch here, and then I replace the portal over there. So, yeah, this allows us to walk through this wall. Um, since you can see, it is not colored when I'm in the blue portal environment. Walk through the wall. Also, we make a quick save here. This is for item save glitch again. It will be used later, but
Yeah,
is
I intentionally left that to the
yeah. This is the only time we make a quick save in this entire run. So we should have portal on the wall there, peek on this wall. Then we peek to the top of the elevator shaft. And now comes another glitch called vertical wall warp. It is another instance of FCPS abuse that Uncrafted talks about in his video. So the way we clipped inbounds there is through something called save load clipping. It is really simple. If you stand out of bounds and you crouch and save load, you go downwards. That is literally it. So we use this and we shoot a portal here, grab the radio that we left next to the portal, and I will let Evanlin take over here.
Okay, I think this is good. So we start here. This
Yep.
will be chamber 4.
Intradimensional gates have proven to be completely safe. The device, however, has not. Do not touch the operation as part of a required test protocol. Our previous statement suggesting that we would not monitor this chamber was an outright fabrication. Good job. As part of a required test protocol, we will stop enhancing the truth in 3, 2. Welcome to
Okay, I think this pretty much is chamber 4. So there's something we have to mention is immediately after the item save glitch will can only be turned off if we quit the game. And we did turn it off somewhere after we after we clip into 0, we've turned oops. After clipping to the elevator in 0, we quit the game and restart the game. So the item safely got turned off. Every collision went back to normal. So we don't have item safety here. Then we continue in the end of
these
O2. We basically
interdimensional
grab the radio
gates have proven
and we get stuck somewhere
to
here.
be
This also, I think this is also found by higher.
completely
So when we're stuck, we load this item secret save. This save was made previously in O2. So basically there's a radio somewhere around here and we're walking into that radio. So the player collide with the audio or the radio. And for some reason, if the radio is inside the portal environment and we collide with it behind front of the portal, we'll get item save glitch. So now we got item save glitch again.
safe.
So once we get item save glitch, you can hear the audio chain. There will be a very strong wind sound because our velocity actually got increased to somewhere around 2000 for some probably unknown reason.
Device, however, has not. Do not
And once the elevator move up, we'll get slightly pushed out of the elevator.
touch the operation
And we just did this very cool launch. Let me open the game. Okay, so this is the trace of it. So as you can see, where this is the end of O2, and we get the radio going down to elevator and get stuck here, and we load the a street save to activate item secret, and we got the 2000 velocity somewhere here. And when the elevator is moving up, we just got pushed to the side of it, and now the level transition to O4. O4, basically we're still here. We got a massive amount of velocity, and once the level loads, we did a safe load. We moved the radio to the side of it, and we did a safe load. I actually throw the radio here, throw it out a little bit, and did another save load. So just we still have a 2000 velocity, so we got launch out immediately. Then we collide with this radio to direct us toward the end of the O4. So in this map, the ending isn't actually in the elevator. If we went into the elevator and trigger it, the elevator won't move at all. You'll need to trigger this ending trigger, and GLaDOS will start talking. And once GLaDOS finishes talking, you'll trigger the elevator, and the elevator will only start moving after that. So in the old routes, we in the old test, we basically have to trigger this trigger,
Welcome to test
and
chamber
you can
4.
hear the
You're
GLaDOS
doing
starts
quite
talking.
well.
So when GLaDOS talk, it basically went into a dialogue queue. So if it's talk when it's still talking and you trigger this trigger, you'll have to the GLaDOS will finish the previous dialogue, then this dialogue, and once this dialogue finishes, you can trigger the elevator. So here we didn't activate this dialogue, so we save a lot of time actually. Previous we saw the map was captured basically by those two dialogue, but now we skip the first dialogue, so it's only captured by the second one. So now once we're in the void, we basically start doing void clip. So this each jump like this is basically one save load. So we actually got a lot of upward velocity, but as we mentioned previously, if we crouch and save low in the void, will go down. So we this amount of save low is actually for controlling the height of it, and each of the gap is actually pretty wide because I also lower my FPS during the save load. So with lower FPS, each save load I'll move further. So we void, this is basically a void clip. And once we get here, I let it fly a little bit, then uncrouch. So once we're uncrouch, we can just crouch again. And if we're mid-air and crouch, as we mentioned previously, it is cr- crouch triggering. So now with this crouch triggering, we can
As
trigger
part of a
this
required test
dialog.
protocol, our previous
So
statement
now the map
suggesting
is
that we did
basically
not
on a timer
monitor this
until
chamber
this
was
dialog
an
finishes
outright
and we trigger the
fabrication.
elevator. The
Good
elevator will
job.
start going up.
As part of a required
Let's go back to the video.
as part of a required test protocol, our
So now we basically we did a singularity warp here. So, so fly, once we fly out of there, yep, we trigger the end trigger. Then we keep flying to here. Since there's a portal
test protocol,
here.
we will
So
stop
once we trigger
enhancing the
this trigger,
truth in
this
3,
portal will
2,
open after a while. So before that open, we basically just press our infinite sensitivity bind. So as we mentioned previously, if we press the infinite sensitivity bind mid-air, we'll basically just stuck mid-air. So in here, we press it and we can stuck mid-air waiting for the portal to open. Oops, that's how we keep
of a
stuck
required
here waiting for the portal
test
open. Once the portal open, we
protocol.
walk into the portal and we shoot a portal on the wall. Let's just show the game it faster. So once we get here, we land here and we shoot a portal here. Since we're oh, this is another glitch. So basically, if you press the infinite sensitivity bind in the portal environment, the portal hitbox and the save glitch thing we explained earlier. So if you press it, we'll be teleported to the coordinate 000. And this because when we're using prostrate with the infinite sensitivity, we're basically sending infinite large input into the game. So we can see the bottom left corner, the HUD, the input HUD actually got crazy when we press it one. So because of this, some of the infinity went into the movement code, and there's a failsafe in the movement code. If it's seeing something weird like infinity or nan, it'll correct it to zero as a failsafe. So in this case, the zero will be the zero zero of the map is here. However, since we're on ground, we're standing on the ground. So when we press the infinite sensitivity button, the infinite value actually didn't propagate into the z-axis, so we preserve the height of it. So we can directly teleport here. Once we teleport here, let's go back to the video. Once we teleport
Our
here,
previous statement
we can fall down here
suggesting
and we show a portal on the floor and we shoot it away. So this basically an re-entry method we mentioned earlier, but on the ceiling. I think it's something called PBR or something like that. There's two names, PQR and PBR.
Yeah, so this is PBR standing for portal bisection reentry, I think.
Yeah, it's still just FCPS abuse. Basically, the portal closed and you got teleport to the closest inbound position. Then we trigger the entry trigger, which we skip. But since now the ending trigger already got triggered, this dialog doesn't matter anymore. So we shoot a
on
portal
the
here, and the portal immediately went away. This is because the game actually plays a few portal bumper or something entity like that around the map. It usually plays on walls, so you don't have weird fizzle spot. You a spark spot, I think Portal 2 people call it that. So a portal will shoot on the wall more consistently. But in this map, they also put it on the floor for some reason. And if it plays on the floor, it actually kind of buggy since it tried to bump the portal to somewhere it shouldn't be, like this one. And when the portal got placed there, it'll realize it shouldn't be and be able to place there, and it just fizzle immediately. So this is how we fizzle this portal. The reason we fiddle this portal is because we want to mess with the linkage. As you remember, our portal is orange portal is here, but when we trigger, this orange portal will open. Actually, let's reload. No. So when we trigger this one,
as part of a required test
this will
protocol.
open.
Our previous statement
Um,
suggesting that
but
we
we
would
want to
not
use
monitor
the
this chamber
wall
was an
portal. It's
outright
more convenient.
fabrication.
So if we have a
Good job.
open
As
a
part
blue
of a
portal here
required
and
test
we trigger this
protocol,
trigger,
we will stop enhancing the truth in 3,
this portal won't
2,
link. We will still link with the old one. However, if we trigger this one
as
and we
part of
don't
a
have a
required
blue
test
portal open,
protocol, our previous
then we
statement
trigger this one.
suggesting that we would not monitor this
Once this
chamber
orange
was an
open,
outright
it'll
fabrication.
link with
Good
our
job.
blue
As
portal.
part
So
of
that's
a
good. That's what
required
we
test,
want. That's the reason we fizzle the blue portal here.
this chamber was an outright
And
fabrication.
here I try to shoot the blue portal as soon as possible, and it somehow didn't link with the other portal and somehow created this. As you can see, there's like two portal, one open and one closed. I have no idea how this works, but I think it's pretty cool, so I just left it in the run. It didn't affect anything at all. So we shoot down the camera, and now the blue portal is connecting to the wall
Good job.
portal. We can do a steam shot here, as we explained that in O2, basically using the non-existent gap inside the wall. So we shoot our bounce.
Part
Then we shoot under the
of
elevator and do a
a
PQR here.
required test
Now we're just waiting for
protocol.
the
We will
GLaDOS
stop
dialog to
enhancing
finish
the
to
truth in
immediately
3,
trigger the
2,
elevator. Now we trigger the elevator and we went back the portal immediately to do another steam shot to go outbound again with the same method. And we shoot under the upper elevator. Then we do a PQR, so we're on top of this elevator. Now we can set up for O6. Let's play the video for O6.
Safety is one.
Okay, I think that's good. So in O6, this setup is pretty similar to the one in O2.
Welcome
Okay,
to
so
chamber.
we get the camera instead of the radio thing. We throw the radio into the void, and we
You're
go
doing
to this corner. This one is actually a little bit different since we're
quite well.
already start gaining velocity before we enable item sacred for some reason. It's also a 2000 velocity, but this one is mostly upward velocity instead of sideways. But that's what we want since the elevator of the next map is also up there. So here we enable item save grid again. The reason we want to enable item save grid here is because I need to throw the radio out. Let's look at the in-game trace.
Protocol. We will.
So let's see. Okay, so this immediately after we load the item segment save, now we have item segment and the elevator almost move up. Once it move up, we change level to chamber 6. And in chamber 6, we got a camera holding here inside the elevator because our item segment, the camera can face through the elevator, so we can still hold it. And we throw it here. Now basically probably here it changed the level to chamber 6 and the camera just keeps flying out. I actually throw this a couple times. Most of the time you'll throw it out to the void. I adjust the angle probably a lot of times to make it slide here. So at the same time the player is doing something else. Let's see the video. So once we throw the camera out, we immediately change level. Oops, I skipped it too quickly. Okay, so once we change level, we basically start slave loading this void clip, pretty similar to the previous one. If we keep slave loading in the void, we'll keep the velocity. But actually here, we can't keep slave loading since we didn't have a correct angle to enter to the elevator up there. So in the trace, there are actually a couple of frames. I'm not continuous slave loading. Okay, sorry about that. Let's play this thing again. So I think I'm basically strafing here. As you can see, the green spot is basically where we start save loading. So this part we're not save loading, but you can see we're keep crouching and uncrouching. Since if we keep spending crouch in the void, we can go faster. Let me demonstrate this. So now we're falling normally, and if I spend the crouch very quick, you'll start going slightly faster. If we stand with tick perfect, it'll probably be 3 times faster or something like that than that it keeps moving normally. So here we're doing crouch span and we're adjusting the angle so we can enter the elevator here at a very precise location and to trigger the elevator trigger. But for this one, we also need item sacred. Since normally, if you have a velocity in the void and you just keep moving into the wall, you'll actually get stuck by the wall. You won't be able to enter it. But if you have item sacred and if you do the same thing, if you do it tick perfectly, I'm not sure if I actually went in or I no kill it. If you got identity glyphs, you'll be able to just clip into the wall with just by save loading. So that's one thing we need to turn on item sequence layer. So here we turn on with the save loading, we can clip into this geometry and clip into the elevator. And for some reason, sometimes if you direct save loading into the trigger will just disappear. But in this case, it actually got triggered. So once it triggered, we basically stop. We need to save load tick perfectly to when we are going up to preserve the velocity. But once we're here, we just stop save load perfectly for a few ticks and also for loading the trigger. And we also lose all our velocity, so we won't keep going upward. Then we just save load again. And in this time, it'll just be the normal save load going down thing. So now each save load we're going down, and with this bar like this one, there's also this bar like this, we can keep ourselves stuck inside the wall so we won't be stuck under the elevator since we didn't trigger this trigger at all. This trigger is corresponding to opening that portal. So now if we got stuck under this elevator and we shoot the portal, we actually don't have a portal at all. I actually triggered the elevator, sorry. So now we just keep save loading down. And after we save loading down, we actually want to do at least save load as possible because each save load will actually delay the elevator from moving for a tick. So once we're here, we did another crossband to get down it fast. And once we're getting down, let me show the video. When when we're getting down, we shoot a portal here. Okay, it didn't show the animation, but you hear a portal sound. We basically show a portal here, here. So when we go down here, we can trigger this trigger to activate this portal. So we show fire portal there, and we basically, this is also a save load clipping, clip downward. Clipping downward doesn't need item save glitch. Only clipping from the floor or from the wall need item save glitch. Then since the item save glitch is turned off, so this camera collision went back to normal. It won't keep falling into the void. We can grab it and put it here and do a PQR since the blue portal is already placed at a good spot. So once the PQR, we can get the camera.
Safety is one of many enrichment center goals. The aperture science high energy pellet seen to the left of the chamber. Please note that we have
Yeah, that was a wait. So, after we have passed through the portal, we immediately grab the camera and throw it here. So now I walk over here and this is another seam shot, except this one is a bit more unique because it is not in a corner, it is just on the floor between two brushes. The seam shot is actually not completely necessary, I think, but I do it anyway because I will be using infinite sensitivity when setting up for 08. And if you remember, pressing infinite sensitivity while close to a portal takes you to the origin, which is not what we want. And it also protects us from the orb, so it won't kill us. So that is what we do. We place this so it's basically in the center. This is more infinite sensitivity abuse. We use it so we get stuck in midair, and you will see that my crosshair is going to like change a little bit in a couple of seconds. There. So what I did there is I went from crouching to not crouching meaning that my hitbox is currently inside of the camera, which sends my VFIS to NAN, I believe. That is what happens. There's a big document explaining a lot of the infinite sensitivity stuff written by Hire, which we will be linking in the description, that you can read if you're interested. So we do this because there's another glitch that I have not talked about yet. So let me try to demonstrate that. Yeah, so this is essentially what we're doing. When you let go of infinite sensitivity and walk while you're standing on a prop, you gain a lot of speed, like 2000. I think this is the same principle that is being used in chambers 4 and 6, but I could be wrong. So yeah, that is the glitch that we use to gain a lot of velocity.
I think it's not the same in chamber 4 and 6. Then we're not using infinite sensitivity there. We're just stuck in the elevator somehow.
Right. Yeah, that might
But the
be correct.
velocity is pretty similar, so there's something really weird about 2000
Yeah,
in this game.
I think it's because the VFIS gets separated from the QFIS, and that gives you velocity, but I'm not sure at all. But yeah, let me show the trace for this because this is pretty cool. So yeah, you can see that I'm currently crouching and I will be uncrouching right about now. So a couple ticks before the next map has loaded, I start to move forwards. So I time it pretty perfectly, because if you're out too far away from the elevator when a map loads, then sometimes the map will just not load, or you will lose your portal gun. So I had to time this really precisely so that I was close enough to the elevator. Also, it is precise because if you save load, or if you load a save while having infinite sensitivity bugged, it's going to cancel that and restore the normal state, which is not what we want, obviously. So you can see here that I do one jump off the camera, and then there are no more jumps, so this is just one continuous jump all the way to the elevator. So a fun fact about this is that I gain the max amount of speed that you can get in this game in one axis, which is 3,500 units per second, on the first tick of the map. So this means that unless there's a full reroute of this map, you cannot go faster than this. This is the limit. Also, another fun piece of trivia is that the script for 08, is the final one that was written for this project around a month and a half ago. And it transitions into 09, which was, I believe, the first script that was written for this project that is still in the run.
The first script.
Yeah, so that's a bit fun. Also, while this looks like pretty complicated, 08 was actually the simplest map to TAS, having only about 5 lines of code, since it is literally just one jump and then crouching to the end. But yeah, that was Chamber 8, onto Chamber 9, which Emmeline wrote.
I mean, the setup in Chamber 6 is pretty complicated.
Yeah, well, the actual map.
It's very precise.
Yeah.
So, as we mentioned before, the 09 is the first map we started. So let's just
Please
play
note
a
that we
video.
have added a consequence for failure. Any concord followed by
Okay,
death.
so now we
Good
go
luck.
into 09.
The Enrichment Center regrets to inform you that this next test is impossible. Make no attempt to solve it.
Okay, so probably so as we mentioned, O9 is the first map, the oldest map. The reason is in O9 we started at the very back of the elevator, so we can just make a save there before like the previous chamber was made. And once the previous chamber went there, we'll continue in O9 without any problem, since we'll always be standing at a consistent position. Um, as you can see, the
Look by
Portagon is actually blue. But when
Good
we
luck.
started testing this map, we didn't know that since usually in O8,
Good.
we will be, where's O8? We'll be hitting a
Seen to
fissure
the left of the chamber.
here. Here's a fissure. When we hit it, the Portagon should get reset, so it should be white. The light should went back to white, but we're moving so fast here. A tick, we're behind the filler, and the next tick were immediately at the other side of the filler. So the filler actually never got triggered. So the our protagon keeps being blue.
Please note that we
So
have
we have
added a
to save
consequence
edit.
for
We have to
failure.
edit the
Any
save
contact with
of
the
the
chamber floor will
original
result in an
O9 script,
unsatisfactory
O9 save
mark on your
to
official
make
testing record,
the protagon
followed by
being
death.
blue, so the render will
Good
look
luck.
consistent, which is kind of funny. Thanks for Uncrafted figuring out how to edit save. And in O9, jump, we ABS as soon as possible here to probably a little bit back. I kind of forgot where the trigger is. Anyway, there's a trigger probably somewhere around here. We'll open this orange portal, so we want to win there as soon as possible. This is the map I tested it in 2022, so I'm probably not less skilled in testing back then. So I think for execution, this map might have a lot of place to improve. First, this jump might not be the jump from the elevator. This straight might not be optimal, since if you did some very weird strafing inside the elevator, you probably can hit some trigger faster. At least I did it in some of the 04 IL testing, individual level testing. And anyway, we just move straight forward naively in this test. So first thing, this orange portal might
The
open slightly faster if we try hard enough. Then we shoot a portal here and we did a seam
request
shot before
to
the orange
inform you.
open. Then once the orange open and we fire the steam shot, the shot is still traveling. We peek through this one, and now the shot landed.
This
Oh, the shot landed. We probably need to show that in game. Okay, so we're here. We shoot a portal. We trigger this trigger,
The Enrichment Center regrets to
and we
inform you that this
did a
next
steam
test
shot
is
here.
impossible. Make no
The steam shot
attempt to
lands
solve it.
somewhere around here. Before the last shot lands, we move through this portal. So shoot here, and we move through here. And when we're here, we can crouch and do the vertical wall warp. I think this shot actually, yeah, landed in this wall.
The
We can do a
Enrichment Center
vertical wall warp,
apologizes
basically
for this clearly
crouch
broken
and jump.
test
Oh,
chain.
okay. Let's hope this will work. Yeah, it works.
Yeah.
So once we're here, we basically trigger the elevator trigger. We just walk in this direction. That's our trace. Yeah. When they're here, we jump and trigger the trigger. I think this movement can also be optimized better. I'm not really good at testing back then. And if we play the video, you can see I'm doing a lot of angle
Test
snapping, like this one. Basically, just snap it. This is very bad for the viewer.
is
I, yeah, another snap.
impossible.
And here's another snap.
Make
This is very bad. I don't know why I didn't smooth
no
it and
attempt
go out. Anyway, so here once we trigger the O9, elevator, the O9 elevator is actually up there. So when we trigger this trigger, oh yeah, we trigger it. We need to go back here to trigger this trigger, so the elevator will move down. I think if you do it fast enough, you have to do it
The
fast
Enrichment
enough.
Center
So
regrets to
trigger this
inform
one
you that
and
this
go
next
here fast
test
enough
is impossible. Make
before
no
it land,
attempt to
and
solve it.
it'll start moving up. So we need the elevator to move up to change the level. Anyway, let's. Here we show a portal here and do a save glitch. So we probably explained slave glitch before, but this one, I think this new here. This is actually the most common save glitch method, which is
The
using
Enrichment
an
Center
using
regrets to
an
inform you that this next test is
edge glitch.
impossible.
So we will
Make
show the
no attempt
portal
to
at
solve it.
this corner, and we get stuck at this corner. You can see the top right corner is the overlay. This is basically because the game kind of think the game think we're inside this portal environment, right? And we're inside the portal, but we're behind the portal. So the game
The
probably think
Enrichment Center
we're something like
apologizes for
this.
this clearly
We're
broken
sticking
test
our head
chamber.
out of the orange portal. The game think we're doing this, but we're actually just stuck behind here. But because the game if the game want to do this thing properly, you'll have to detect it. One, player
Once
is in the
again,
portal
the
environment.
Enrichment
Two,
Center
is
offers its most
head
sincere
is
apologies for the
behind the
occasion of this
portal. So
unsolvable
when
test
we shoot a
environment.
portal, you'll have to transform the shot to the other side of the orange portal. So here, the game did the same thing. It transformed our shot. So you can see the upper left corner, the overlay is showing
Frankly,
the shot
this chamber
where the
was a
shot got
mistake.
transformed.
If we were you,
So
we
if we
would
shoot
quit
here,
now.
you can see the shot actually land there. And once we get stuck here, we can crouch, or we can just save low and move backward. We'll just
No
do
one will blame you
get
for
safe glitch.
giving up.
So
In
one thing
fact,
about safe glitch
clicking at
is
this point is a
you'll lose
perfectly
collision with the
reasonable
wall.
response.
The other thing is you'll be keeping in this weird state. The game think you're in the portal, so we're environment. So if you walk backward, you'll be seeing you'll be transformed to the other side. So once we're here, transformed it, um, we walk here and fire a portal here. So where does it land? So
Quit
once
now,
we hit a
and
filter,
K
everything
will
will
be
become
served
solid again since
immediately.
the portal disappeared. But the shot is still being transformed. So now if we shoot here and immediately went back the filter of course, so we won't fall down. The shot actually landed here. And what's there? There's a chair. So the
The
chair
Enrichment
will
Center
fall through
regrets
the
to
portal
inform you that this next test is
and
impossible.
just being there. So let's continue. So once we fired that shot and we went into the portal, we did a save load. So let's
Make
went
no
back to
attempt to
09.
solve it.
So if we get a save glitch here and we go through the filter, when we shoot here and fizzle it, now we're still in the weird transformed state since our portal is landed somewhere here and we fizzled it again. So our offset is pretty large. But since now the portal got
The
fizzled, we
Enrichment
can
Center
just do a safe load
apologizes
and
for this
it'll
clearly
just
broken test chamber.
went back to normal. You'll realize you're not in this state. And so now we shoot a portal, we'll end up in the correct position. So once we shoot there, we went back here and we did a seam shot. This seam. Do we have this comment? Yeah. So we actually have some tool about the seam shot. Like this one means the
Once
green
again,
side we
the
can
Enrichment Center
shoot
offers its
from
most
this
sincere
side.
apologies
You
on the
can will
occasion
be
of
able
this
to
unsolvable
fire
test
through this one.
environment.
We'll be able to fire through this one, and we're down here we can. This basically the steam shot is basically caused by two type of geometry. This one is the simple brushes is basically a rectangle.
Frankly,
Rectangle
this
is
chamber
2D.
was a
I'm not sure
mistake.
what it's called in
If we
3D.
were you,
Anyway,
we
this is
would
a
quit now.
complex, which means it has some weird angle like this part. So if these two type of geometry meets, this gap between it, the collision code will have some error. So you can shoot, fire through this one
No one will
like
blame
this.
you for giving up. In fact,
As you can see,
quitting at
we're
this point
shooting
is a
through this one.
perfectly reasonable
And
response.
so from here, we basically fire to probably this wall. Yeah, we just need to go out of bounds. We shoot this wall. Then you can continue from the video. Oops. We shoot this wall and we pick here. Then we just pick under the elevator and we do a PQR. So after the PQR, we get the chair and we crouch. So when we crouch, we do a safe load. This is basically the dock safe glitch, as we explained earlier. In before we dock, we are inside this portal bubble, and when we dock, we are outside of the bubble, and we save at the same time. We'll get safe glitch. So getting this safe glitch, and we fire the portal a bit up, so we lose collision with this floor. We can keep flowing down. And now we're here. We can shoot a portal underneath the elevator. Since we're stay glitched on the blue portal, which is basically the player have some special connection with the blue portal. We shoot here, you got the blue portal will be preserved to the next map because everything within this landmark area
Quit
probably I
now,
think
and
this
K
orange
will be
thing,
served immediately.
orange cube in here will all get preserved. So if we shoot a blue portal here and we just change to the next map, do I need to press this one? Yeah. Wait, where's my orange? Oh, wait, not blue. Okay, so we shoot a blue portal here. Once you change level to the next map, it'll still be here and it'll be a weird stuck in the outbound way, which is kind of funny. And we preserve the blue portal, and once we move up, we grab the chair we just throw away. So let's play the 10 map.
Hello again. To reiterate, previous one.
Okay, so we did very fast. This map actually took me probably 2 or 3 days to make, and it's just a 5 second map. So once we in the next map, we grab a chair and we do a prop boost. We basically do multiple ABH. Once we do one ABH, we grab the a chair near us so we can just land on the chair again to do another hop. So the more we hop, the faster we go. So we can just zoom up immediately to here. And in the old test, I think in the old test they didn't do the portal preserve, so they don't have sacred
Hello
preserved
again.
it to
To
chamber
reiterate,
time. So in the old
previous
test, they'll
one.
have to get a sacred here,
Build
then they can
momentum.
do a prop boost. But in this in new test, we have the sacred
Hello
preserved,
again.
so we just shoot a portal before the orange open, and when the orange open,
Re-
immediately we can. Oh, by the way, the orange trigger is open is somewhere around here. Let me load the. Okay, so let's move. This trigger is for the this orange to open, so we need to do the prop boost to get here as soon as possible. Once we're here, we basically can do well, prop boost. So how prop boosts work? I'm not very sure, but when you're having save glitch and you're behind the save glitch portal and you're colliding with with a prop, you basically got launched randomly.
To ensure the
Let's
safe
just
performance
use
of all
this
authorized
camera as an
activities,
example.
do not destroy,
So
fight, or
like if
test the
we're getting
apparatus.
save glitch here and we we have a portal layer, so we have save glitch and we're going behind it and colliding with the camera. As you can see, we got a weird boost layer. It's actually pretty random, so it took me a lot of time just for searching for a correct direction with enough speed to be fast enough. So we boost it here, and in the midair, somewhere around here, I fire a portal. So when we have save glitch layer, um, oh, did I just lose save glitch? Let me get it again. So we fire a portal here, and then we do a chair launch up here, and we probably fire somewhere around here. We, where do we fire? Okay, somewhere around here. We fire a portal. Is our player trace? Yeah, here. I think at this point we fire a portal here. So the portal lands here. As we mentioned previously, when we have cyclists, a lot of walls didn't have collision. Only the wall near us have collision. Now this command, portal environment 1. So okay, let's get a portal here. When the portal was here, this wall didn't have collision. That's why we can went through the ceiling and keep flying. But when we landed here, we'll just keep falling because there's no collision. So with this sacred shot, we bring the portal here. So now this wall will have collision, so we can do a hop on it. So in this spot, I did a safe loading. This is basically safe load ABH. So when we're moving up here, we did one ABH. And if we didn't do any safe load, we'll just keep flying and probably the trajectory will land somewhere around here. But we want to do a second an ABH faster because the earlier we do another ABH, the faster we go. So we did a safe flow. As we mentioned, when we do safe flow in the void, we'll go downward. So now we do a safe flow, we directly get downward immediately and we can touch the ground faster. And once we touch the ground, we can do another ABH. I don't think I have enough height to do a second safe flow ABH, so I only did one. So the second ABH will be the normal ABH. Then we just fly through there. As you can see, we have collision here, but we don't have collision here. So we'll just flying through this wall and trigger this trigger. So in every map, we usually trigger the change level by riding the elevator. When the elevator go to the top, we'll change level. But how it actually works is is because when the elevator move down, it move up to the top of the shelf, it'll fire a command to this trigger. Every map has this trigger like this, which corresponding for the chain level. And in all of the other maps, this trigger was disabled by untouch. I think that's it. That's what it's called. So if the player touch this trigger, nothing will happen. The only way to fire this trigger is from the elevator moving to the top, and the elevator send the command to this trigger to firing it. But in this map, the developer did something wrong. It probably forgot to uncheck a flag. So the trigger can be triggered by the player. And once we're here, we can continue to the next map. One more.
Previous one.
So the reason we will need to pause a little bit here or change the FPS is because if we go too fast, we won't be touching this trigger at all. I think we'll be skipping it directly. So with control the FPS or doing a few pause here, we actually cut out the pause so you won't be able to see it. But we did do probably 2 tick pause here, 1 tick pause. So anyway, we can trigger this trigger while also be go past this wall so we can get behind this wall when we're change level to another map. Let's just play another map.
The device has been modified so that it can now manufacture 2 linked portals at once. As part of an optional test protocol, we are pleased to.
Okay, so this is basically chamber 11. So once we get there, we did another infinite sensitivity. So since we went through the change level, let's do it together here. Went through the change level, the portal didn't got preserved here, so we lose save glitch immediately, and we're stuck at the back of this part of the wall. So we can, I think as you can see, we didn't get stuck in the wall. We're a little bit out. So with that much velocity, we'll just keep flying here. But if we press the infinite sensitivity, we basically lose all our momentum immediately. So we can stuck here. We don't want to fly out into the void, of course. So now we continue. We can fire a portal here. Let's let's do the old route. The previous test should fire a portal here. Let me get all the portal. Okay, so usually the orange will be here first. It won't have enough time to rotate to other places, so we'll keep it there. So now, once we transition, we only have the blue portal. We fire one here. In the old test route, we pick into this conveniently big wall. This is the room for GLaDOS entity thing. We fire here, and then we fire under the elevator. However, and we do a PQR, yeah. And however, you can see this involves a lot of portal traveling. Things from here to here is pretty far, and then from here to here is also pretty far. In portal, as you can see, if I hold down the fire, we fire each portal every zero point 0.5 second. So we call it on cap, means we fire as soon as possible. If and in this map, in theory, we should be able to do everything on cap, right? Think every shot are available immediately if the portal travel instantly. However, most of the time we're waiting for the shot to land, so we fire this one, and we fill the one before the 0.5 second actually ran out before the portal can land here. And after it land here, we'll also have to move here to fire another shot. So once we fire another shot, the 0.5 second pass, so we basically keep losing time to the portal traveling. So I found another way. Instead of fire the portal here, I walk to the left a little bit and stand on this edge here. So we can go a little bit left to fire a very precise shot at this wall. Let the trace play out. So once we're here, we fire a portal on this wall. Oh, we first fire a portal on this wall and fire another portal to do a peek there. So the portal actually landed here. So once we go here, there's a pretty small gap where you can fire under this elevator. So with this, the portal basically travels a lot faster, and we still didn't do it fully on cap, but it saved a lot of time compared to the old route. So once we fire the portal, we can just do a PQR and trigger the elevator. Yeah. So let's continue here. Oh, so we fire here, and we do a PQR. Once we trigger elevator, the map is basically on a timer now, so we can just do whatever we want slowly. We first shoot a portal here to grab the portal gun, then we fire a portal on top of this part,
The device has been
and a portal here. When we get down there,
modified so that
okay, so a portal.
the
Once we
device
get a
has been
portal, one
modified
portal
so that
here,
it can now
another portal
manufacture two
here,
linked portals at once.
and we
As
strafe
part of an
down,
optional
and we
test
fire
protocol,
the
we are
blue
pleased
portal
to
here.
present an amusing fact.
So now we can do an edge glitch similar to what we did previously. I probably didn't set it up properly. Okay.
The Enrichment Center
Oh,
promises
the
to always
orange is
provide a
here.
safe
Yeah,
testing
we strafe down the
environment.
orange.
In
Yeah.
dangerous testing environments, the Enrichment Center promises to always provide useful
Okay, we can do
advice.
an edge
For
glitch.
instance,
So
the floor
basically,
here will kill
it's
you.
still
Try
the
to
same
avoid it.
principle. The game thing we're in the portal environment and we're behind the portal, so it transforms our shot above the orange portal. So here, so we can see we can shoot this wall. So we shoot
Now
this wall, and actually, oh, that's not where we shot. Sorry. Yeah, the orange here, blue here. So we got an edge glitch, and we shoot at this camera. This camera probably orange.
to ensure the safe
Then we
performance
did
of all
another
authorized activities, do not destroy
another
vital
edge
testing
glitch. So now the
apparatus.
orange is here and our shot is here. We can fire at this wall. So since the first shot shoot down the camera with orange, of course, and the second shot is pretty far away here. So we basically did a portal pick. So we fire this shot. Once while these shots are still traveling, we fire the blue. We fire the blue here. So when we enter the blue portal, the orange got finally travel to that wall. So that's why oops. That's why we choose here. And now the blue portal basically disappeared, and we can show another portal there. And since now the portal is in on that wall, did I use the wrong color? Probably, I don't know. Anyway, we can just pick. Oops, I should the wrong color again. We can pick under the elevator, and now we can just wrong color. Anyway, we can do a PQR
The
there.
Enrichment Center
Just play the video. So now we
portals
do
at
a
once.
PQR here. Then we can grab the camera we left near the
Part of
portal.
an optional test
And
protocol.
yeah, that's the setup.
We are
We grab the
pleased
camera and have two portal all underneath the chamber 11.
to present
Then
an
we'll
amusing
wait for
fact.
the elevator to transition into the next map.
Okay, so this is chamber 13.
To ensure the safe performance of all authorized activities, do not destroy vital testing apparatus. As part of a previously mentioned required test.
Okay, so let's break that down. So we start here And the first thing that we did was a singularity warp to get to the origin. And we do that as soon as we can, basically. So you see that we go from here to up here, which is where the origin is. And we also made sure to jump before we did the singularity warp, so we get put at height 0 as well.
Yeah, actually, it doesn't matter how fast we do it, as long as we're before the first shot is available.
Yeah,
Probably want to talk about fake reload.
yeah. So fake reload. So as you can see, we hold the camera, and this is because after a load, there is a 1 second cooldown before you can shoot. So I am holding my left click. It takes around that long. That is 1 second. However, if I grab a prop and I throw it immediately after, that timer gets reduced to only half a second.
It only apply to blue. You can do that. You cannot do that with orange.
Yeah. So we throw the camera, and we aim to a very specific location on the wall here. And we are about to do a glitch called a vertical angle glitch. So let me show that off. So what you're seeing on my screen now are 2 portals in very specific places, and a bit behind the blue portal is a big circle. Essentially, if you pass through a portal in such a way that you are right in between the 2 portals, so on the very edge of passing through it, on the correct tick. Let me just try and line this up. So essentially, you want to be as close to it as possible on a set tick, and what this does is it teleports you to somewhere completely unintended. I think it happens because you pass through the portal 3 times, and it tries to correct for that. I know that Evan has a video on that on his channel, which shows
Yeah, we'll
it
link
pretty
that in the
well.
description.
Yeah.
Do you want to mention how we get at that precise position doing the binary search on different angle?
Yeah, sure. So before that, my player is here now, and what we do in human runs, we do a view snap, which is, it looks like this basically. We set our sensitivity to something extremely high, because it allows us to look somewhere very specific. So right now my yaw is 0, and now it is precisely minus 51.516701. And so we use this to control exactly where the player will be. And to find this angle, we do a binary search using a TAS. So what a binary search is it is a way to find a very specific spot when you basically you make a guess, and the game tells you whether you are too high or too low, and you can adjust for that. So say that we want a binary search on this floor tile. We can start our guess in the middle, and say that the game has picked some position, say over here, that we want to guess. So we start by guessing here, and the game says you're too far to the right. So that means that all of this is off limits. We don't want to be here. So we make a new guess in the middle of the new tile, half of this tile. We make our guess here. And the game now tells us, oh, you're too left, so we move a bit to the right. We do that again, and it says you're still too left, so we move a bit to the right again. And we keep doing this until a very cool glitch happens called a vertical angle glitch. So you can see in the top left, that is where I'm going to end up when I do this glitch, which is underneath the elevator. So that is what we do. in the TAS, and it places us actually like halfway between the elevator and underneath it. And this
So
is
you don't
done.
need to jump to trigger. It just trigger immediately.
Yeah, so that was half an accident and half intentional. Because it allows us to immediately activate the elevator while still allowing us to shoot a portal underneath it. So by doing this, we shoot orange and we do another singularity warp to go back to a more playable part of the map. I shoot up here, then down here. So now comes another glitch called a quantum crouch. A quantum crouch is a way to shoot out of bounds by passing through a floor portal. It looks like that.
In the quick quantum crowds there, like a lot of different quantum crowd names. Yeah, the quantum crowd storage. I think we did quick quantum crowds, which is basically pressure crowds when we're passing through into a wall from a floor portal to a wall portal, right?
Yeah. So we do this tick perfectly,
You need to,
and it allows us to do that, and we
yeah,
shoot a portal.
on top of the elevator.
Yeah. So it lands up here. So then what we do is we do another singularity warp. This one is not necessary. It is just cosmetical. It places us here.
I actually didn't realize how many singularity warp you did here.
Yeah. Oh yeah, this was actually the first script that I wrote for this task, so it is perhaps not the cleanest thing.
Somewhere in August or July. When did you start it?
I think August.
When did you start it? August.
Yeah.
We finished a project somewhere in September, and the old age added one probably in October. I think that's correct.
Yeah. So now I'm going to do another version of save glitch called falling save glitch. Basically, if you have a bit of velocity while falling out of bounds next to a portal, and if you save load on the correct time, you will gain save glitch. Looks like that, so you can see I fell through here. And I touched the fizzler, so I gain collision back with the map, otherwise I would just fall through the floor. So this is what we do. And we also save load, I think, because right now I'm behind. So the portal was here before. It's gone now, but the offset is still there when I'm behind it. So save loading makes it normal. So we do that here. And we're so early that the elevator has not even started rising. So it leads to this sort of funny interaction where we watch it go up without us. So yeah, we fall down here, watch the elevator go up, and we then drop down here and we place two portals here. So this is going to reactivate the save glitch. So we lose collision with a lot of the walls around us, including this one. So we can crouch out of bounds to aim at a specific spot, which is for the next map, which I will attempt to show. Yeah, okay. So chamber 14, I will show it now. Like that. So what the heck just happened? This is a new glitch that we have not yet talked about called Traveling Portal Wrong Warp.
I found that glitch somewhere around 2022.
Yeah.
which is very cool. And this setup is actually probably the second usage I found, second route I found using this glitch. And I made a prototype test for showcasing this glitch, showcasing this route, but it isn't usable at that time because we'll be trapped inside the elevator. But now we have infinite sensitivity, so this route is finally usable. We'll see it here.
Yeah. So essentially what this glitch does is when we have a portal underneath the elevator and we shoot it somewhere else, and if the map transitions while the portal is still we still haven't landed, then the portal will land in the next map where it would land here. So this is the overlay for
So,
chamber 14.
mm, so basically, how portal traveling work is when you fire the portal, it'll it'll scan immediately where it should land, and it stores its coordinate in the portal entity and add a timer. So after this timer is done, the portal will teleport to that coordinate. But during this time, we got a change level, and we change the level. Oh, basically, we usually have to transform all the entity coordinate inside the transition zone to another map, but they forgot to also transition this stored position. So when the timer is on, the timer reaches 0, and the portal will teleport to travel there. It will teleport to the originally stored coordinate, which in this case happen to be inside the elevator of the next map.
Yeah. Um, so one interesting property about this specific use case of this glitch is that, as you can see, the elevator is not somewhere where you're supposed to place a portal. So the portal is only open for a single tick, I believe. And this is not very useful. However, using another piece of tech called save delay, we can make it so it's there for a few ticks longer. So basically what a save delay is that if you do a bunch of tick perfect save loads, the portal will just be there for longer. It is also used for delaying some portal shots landing. So I don't know if I can do that. You can see it was delayed by a little bit there.
If you really save load a long time, it will be delayed a very noticeable amount of time. It will be actually stuck in the traveling for very very long if you did like 100 or 10 save load or something like that.
Yeah. So I think in this task we only do like 5 or 6 maybe, because
Good enough for us to travel
yeah.
into the portal.
So we do this. Let me load into 09 so you can see sort of what's going on. So this is where we are, and this is where our portal is. Very unusual place. So we do a couple save delays, and see if I can see
To
the
trigger
player.
it.
Um,
I think it's only there for like a tick and you singularity warp out immediately.
yeah. So this is the one tick that we're in the elevator. So basically, we
So
entered.
before singularity warp, we'll be trapped inside the elevator and it'll be very slow for the next map since we can't do any setup. But now with singularity warp, we can just trigger the elevator and escape it.
Yeah. So that is what we do. After the player has been in here, we do a singularity warp, which teleports us here, which is the origin. And just doing normal task strafes to get to this wall is not enough. We will fall short. So what we have to do is abuse infinite sensitivity a bit more to cancel our velocity completely, like that. So we do this like 4 times, so we can reach this wall. Place a portal here, and remember our other portal is still under the elevator. So we shoot that portal up here. Yeah. We shoot a portal so it lands over here. We do a PBR, portal bisection reentry, to get inbounds. And we grab a cube. And we go down here. So remember our portal is still here, so we shoot our blue portal so we can pass through, and we do a peek underneath the elevator. There. Which we then do a PQR on, like that. So then what we do is we place our portals and we grab the cube through it, so we store it here. And this will be used for the next map. So in the meantime, we're going to be lining up another traveling portal rung warp. Here. So this is the overlay for chamber 15. This is the start of the map, and this is the end. And the part just around the button happens to align with an observation room that is quite close to the ending. And this is actually the one place where this glitch is used in full game runs. So you would shoot it over there, and you would be quite close to the ending, so you could just fling. But in this task, we use it for something a bit different called inbounds under elevator. This is a route found by Sionic, I believe, a couple of years ago. Let me show the video for chamber 15 first. So this is lining up for the rung warp. This is chamber 15.
For your own safety, do not destroy vital testing apparatus.
That was chamber 15. So, like I said, we did a traveling portal rung warp, which lands the portal. Also, we do a fake reload here by throwing the cube. So our other portal is right now, let me just remove this. Other portal is here currently. So let me just place these portals like that. Is it orange? Orange. Yeah. Oh yeah, also, when we did this rung warp, we got save glitch because we were in a portal bubble when the level transitioned, and when the portal closed, you get save glitch. It is called load glitch and is used quite a lot in out of bounds. And what this allows us to do is place a portal here, and this just happens to set our offset to right underneath the elevator. So we can just shoot there and pass through the portal and activate it. We do that. We pass through the portal, do a crouch trigger to activate the elevator. Then we immediately do a singularity warp to teleport to the origin, which is over here. And we're on a timer here, since we activated the elevator, of course. Blue goes there. orange goes on top of here, I think. Actually, no, the pool is still underneath the elevator because we want to line this up for the next map. So we place it here on this wall. We go here. So we do a peek, so it lands here. Then we do another PBR to teleport back inbounds. So then from here we shoot down the camera and store it underneath the elevator. It's going to be here somewhere. Yeah. And we go and stand over here. And this is to line up for the next traveling portal one warp into chamber 16. Okay, so I'm gonna show what chamber 16 looks like now. And hopefully VLC will be a bit kinder to me. So yeah, that's chamber 16. So again, this is another traveling portal wrong warp. So we shoot here, and it lands. It lands basically where, right next to the Ratmandan. So this is where the Ratmandan is. Here's a turret. Here's another turret. There are some cubes here. Hopefully that makes sense. So we do a traveling portal wrong warp, and we get save glitch. And we do the exact same thing that we did in chamber 15. So so we start under here. Also, we do a fake reload with the camera. That was what that was for. Just saves a bit of time. We shoot here, and let me show this real quick. So our portals are placed like this, I believe. So if I set my save glitch on orange, I did that incorrectly. If the portal is placed like this, then this will perfectly align with the elevator of the next map. And this is a route that is done in the inbounds category, which is perhaps a bit surprising. But in most cases, this is slower because we don't do the fake reload in RTA runs, because it's just too difficult. So just doing the out of bounds route is faster in most cases, but this is not one of those. So yeah, we do that, and we teleport through and trigger the elevator with a crouch trigger. Grab the camera that has conveniently flown through, and we place it here. And what I'm gonna do now is called a rugby save glitch. So it's just another way of getting save glitch using a prop and a portal. So the way I think this works is that when you save load, props can still move, but you can't. So when you save load, the camera will be touching you and will be pushing you out of the portal bubble, putting you in a save glitch state. So that's what I do here. I do a couple of save loads, so I'm right on the edge of the portal bubble when I start doing my save loads, which is here. And now I have save glitch. So from here, you just place the camera, place these portals in such a way that when the next map loads, these will still be here and we won't have collision with anything else. So you jump on the camera. Also, here's a fun interaction about cameras because we haven't really seen them before.
Apparatus.
Cameras are broken in this game. If you have a camera and it's tilted a bit, and if you walk off an edge with it like this, then you will go flying. I'm not completely sure why it happens. I think it is because the hitbox of the camera is like upside down or misplaced or something. Like, you can see this box here is way outside of the main part of the camera. Also, it is actually flipped, so I'm not quite sure how to illustrate that in a good way. There should be a camera here. Yeah. So you can see this. This is where we have collision with it, right? But the visual part of it is here. It's on the other side. So it's flipped. And I guess that just makes it so when you collide with it, you will go flying. So that's what we use there. Going into chamber 17 now. We do this. Cool. Alright. So yeah, we do a launch of the camera. So a bit before the level has transitioned, we do the launch. So we do the launch a bit before the level has transitioned. I think the transition should happen now. So we go flying. And we get into the elevator because we don't have collision with it because we have save glitch. And we place the portal here to cancel save glitch, and we use infinite sensitivity to cancel our velocity. So we have one portal here and another here, and the camera just happened to fall through the portal, so we can grab it. Yeah, we place a portals like this. We do another rubby save glitch. This works in the exact same way as in chamber 16. So we get save glitch, the portal's there, so we can keep it to the next map. We just jump up there. Oops. Jump up here, do another camera launch. We wait here for the next map to load.
Well done. Be advised that the next test requires exposure to uninsulated electrical parts that may be dangerous under certain conditions. For more information, please attend an Enrichment Center electrical safety seminar.
Yeah, stop there. So, chamber 18 is done using a route called under elevator 3, which is the same route that humans do in runs, except that we also do a fake reload, so we save around half a second. So the way this works is that we throw the camera, we shoot from here all the way up here to the end of the map. So the goal here is to touch this dialogue trigger as soon as we can, because this is what caps this map. The elevator will not go up until we have finished waiting for the dialogue here. So we just want to touch that as quickly as possible. So after we place that portal, we go around here, place the other portal here, and we do a standard PQR on this wall. So we end up here. From here, I do some funny camera movements because I thought it was boring to just walk in a straight line. Doesn't do anything. Then we shoot down here. So it lands right here. It knocks down the camera and is in a place so that we can do another quick quantum crouch to land a portal out on one of these surfaces. I think I used like this one or that one. Yeah, it lands here. So then I do that. I pick up the camera so it's a bit closer to me, and then I do a portal peek to underneath the elevator, and after that it's just a PQR. So we end up here. Cool. From there we grab the camera, place our portals, do rugby once again, so we get save glitch on the blue portal. And from here we just sit around and wait, because there's quite a bit of dialogue left. So we just sit here. Then we activate the elevator on the first tick possible after GLaDOS has stopped talking. And since we have save glitch, we can pass through the wall. And we can line up for the next map, Chamber 19. It looks like this. That was that. So we're entering the escape sequence. What would it be called? 19 maybe? Okay. Yeah, so this is another traveling portal wrong warp. We stand here and we shoot a portal all the way down here into Chamber 19. We land, so we place a portal here. So just for reference, this is the end of the map, and this is the Chamber 9 part of the map. So this is where the cube dropper is. You have like the fizzler here, and the corridor to the elevator is here. So we place a portal so it lands a bit above the corridor. And since this is not a valid place for portal to land, obviously it's just in a random out of bounds space, we have to do the same save delaying trick as we did in Chamber 14, so that we'll have enough time to do what we need to do. So yeah. This is what we do here. Do a jump, replace the portal, grab the camera so we can do a fake reload. I do a bunch of save here, I think 10 or something, probably more. Yeah. So the portal will be open for a bit longer. And from here, Chamber 19 is loaded. So let me go in there. So we'll be here. The other portal, like I said, is over here. We pass through it, throw the... It's just in the middle of the void. It's pretty cool. Throw the radio or the camera so we can shoot a portal on the transition trigger. There's a trigger here that transitions you to the next map, EOO. So I should mention that we can activate this trigger from out of bounds, which is what we do here. So this is similar to what we do in regular runs, where we have a portal here and we just walk through it. And as you can see, this loads us into EO1 or EOO. So yeah, portal gets placed there. Then I immediately pick up the camera. So the portal gets placed, grab the camera, and I walk through this portal in a very specific way. So you can sort of see it in this frame. I'm looking and facing like into the hallway. And what this does is it makes the camera get stuck in between the in the ceiling. So we can use it for the next map. You can probably see it under trace as well. So yeah, it's positioned like this. And this is accomplished using a mechanic called item teleporting. There's a video by Imanex, I believe, that goes in a bit more detail on how this works. But essentially, if you pass through a portal with a prop in the correct way, you can face the object through a wall. Let me see if I can demonstrate. This is probably fine. Oops. So you can see here, I passed through the portal in the correct way, and the cube is now over here. So we do this, but we get the camera stuck in... Come on. We get the camera stuck in the wall instead of facing it completely through. And that was completely on accident. I did not think that was possible even. So it's kind of cool how that ended up working out. Yeah, let's go to EO. Okay. I'm just going to frame advance this entire map because I think it will go a bit too quickly otherwise. So that was EOO. So what happens here is that so what we do here is that we shoot a portal on a very precise spot here. So this is the ending of the map. This shot is extremely precise. So we go to the very end here, and we need to land this shot so it lands on a specific surface. Because you can see none of this is portalable. There. We need it to land there. So you can see that this is right next to the loading zone. And the way that we load into the next map is by shooting our other portal here. And I don't know if I can do this, but yeah. If you jump through the portal, then it will just load the next map. However, I was too far away from the loading zone there, so I lost my portal gun. So this was kind of annoying to TAS because I kept losing my portal gun all the time. But yeah, that's what we do. Then you can hardly see it because one tick after I shoot the portal, I snap my view over here and grab the camera that is still placed because my one portal is here and the other portal is like over here, right? So while this portal is still traveling, I look here and I pick up the camera and I jump through the portal in such a way that it gets item teleported here. If I don't do that, then the camera will completely disappear, which is not good because then we can't do a fake reload. So E1, let's go. Cool. If you're an out of bounds player, then this will look familiar, as this is basically just the human route. So we throw the camera, turn around, shoot a pillar. So we pop out here, we shoot this pillar, which is pretty close to the end of the map. It at least allows us to get a portal there fairly quickly. Yeah. And since the way that we did this is that we got placed so far away from the map that in normal out of bounds runs you would land here, right, and place this portal. You would pass through. But for us, we get placed all the way out here, so we just fall down. So we use infinite sensitivity to cancel our velocity. So I do that here, pass through the orange, then shoot the orange over here. This uses the same principle as all the other escape maps, where if you touch a trigger from out of bounds, you'll just load the next map. Like that. So that's what we do. And we're now entering the final map of the game, EO2. Let's see. Yeah. So let me load the trace. So I pop out here. Immediately what I do is place a portal under me, and I place another portal underneath this turret cubby room. So what I'm gonna do now is a seam shot and a PQR at the same time. So standing here, there's a seam shot that exists, shooting through this gap here between this complex brush and this simple brush. So it lands on this wall over here. This is obviously very precise. So I shoot that portal, and while it's traveling, I go down here, I enter the portal, so that when it lands, I have done a PQR. So I'm in here with the turret. I now place a portal here and throw the turret into the portal, because we're gonna need it later. And right after I do that, I do a singularity warp. So I'm in mid-air, right, because I'm falling through the portal. So it's gonna take me to 0, 0, 0, which in this map is here, underneath the parking lot. So there exists a VAG that I found. If you have your portal here and the other portal at the origin, if you look at the correct angle, I think this should work. When you do a vertical angle glitch, you will be teleported to the GLaDOS room. And that is exactly what I do here. So I line up the portal, go out here, pick the turret up, adjust it a bit, and it is important that the turret is on the opposite side of the portal, so over here, when I do the VAG, because if I don't do that, then it's going to not come with me. And we're gonna need the turret, because GLaDOS is allergic to turret bullets.
Well, you found me. Congratulations. Was it
So when I'm
worth it?
here,
Because despite your
I have the
violent
turret.
nature, the only thing
I
you have
immediately
against
throw
your
it down,
protocol is my heart.
and
Maybe you could say
you'll see in the TAS what happens when GLaDOS gets shot. So she gets shot here, and you can see that all of her cores have been released. So this is a piece of tech that we call turret kill GLaDOS, and it's used in almost every category except glitchless, because it is the fastest way to get the cores out of GLaDOS. So I do that, then immediately after I've done that, I shoot a portal here roughly, and another on the ground, and then I enter the portal with the turret, and I throw it in an extremely precise way, so that it lands like this, and I can continue to get shot by it. So essentially, every time GLaDOS gets shot, you can hear her voice like get pitched up a bit. So let me just like show that. It's like you hear it got a bit sped up. That actually saves around half a second, I believe, per time her voice gets pitched up. So the idea here is you want the turret to shoot GLaDOS as many times as possible. A runner called Imonex calculated the maximum to be 7 times, I believe, so 7 dialogue skips. We call it a dialogue skip, by the way, even though it doesn't necessarily skip any of the dialogue, it just speeds it up. So yeah, you want to do as many of those as possible. In this run, we get shot by GLaDOS 5 times, I believe. So there's maybe some room for improvement. So after I've been shot here, I wait for the yellow core to arrive at its place, and then I immediately pick it up and just throw it away. Then I wait a bit, because if I keep staying here, then the turret is going to kill me. So I go back, get shot somewhere, then I place a portal up here, so I can grab the red core, then I pass through the portal, go here, we're gonna bounce off it. So this core is special, because you don't need to pick it up in order to make it go loose. You can simply touch it and it will fall off. So I land on it in a very specific way, so that I bounce over here. And this is, of course, so I can be shot by the turret somewhere. Because if you remember, the turret is over here. Oh yeah, I also place a portal over there. That's gonna be used later. So here I have to use infinite sensitivity to cancel my velocity, because as you can see, the turret is in quite a bad angle. So it takes quite a while for it to lock onto me. So I just have to sit here for like a second. Which is a bit funny. Yeah, so I sit around and wait. Then after I've been shot, I shoot a portal here. This portal angle is very specific. You will see later why. So I shoot that, then immediately before I pass through, I shoot under the turret. So the sword's gonna be teleported and it's gonna die like here somewhere. And this is so we can damage GLaDOS one final time. So you're gonna see the turret comes out here. It like lands here and it shoots GLaDOS. Here. You can hear the voice pitch there. So in the meantime, while that is happening, I am flinging towards the blue core. And I just pick it up, throw it away, jump off here. So I also place my portals here that will be used later. Also, so the way that we kill, or the way that we incinerate the cores in a lot of these categories, typically you would place your portals in such a way that you can do an edge glitch to yeah. So you can shoot underneath the incinerator, right? And then from there you can like incinerate the core by shooting under it, like that. But getting edge glitch is slow, and we don't want to go slow. So what we do instead is we shoot a seam shot that exists here, which just lands right underneath the incinerator. It's really precise, but it does exist. Yeah, it lands there. We can see it. So it's a portal peak. So this chair just happened to land here. So I think I do a prop boost. This wasn't completely intentional actually, but I think it looks cool, so I kept it in. Yeah, the portal is here now. Just do some jumps. And I can start incinerating the cores. So it is important that the cores roll into the portal, because if you shoot them straight underneath the portal, then they won't get incinerated. So this is a bit planned out. And then here we do something called fast core dunk or something. Since the purple core is gonna fall down. Oh yeah, I never explained why we did the dialogue skips. So when this core falls down is dependent on when GLaDOS finishes talking. So the faster we can get her to shut up, the faster the core will fall down. And we can just pick it up immediately and dunk it in the portal, because that's faster than just letting it fall down. And that's the end of the game. From here we go into the bonus segment, which will be explained now.
Okay, so once they defeat GLaDOS, like here, and we found Juxpa, the one who did the previous task. We thought it would be a very good idea for him to do the bonus segment. So here we did this quick quantum crowd like we did in chamber 13 and probably other chamber, and we fire a portal there. Then we can basically went here and do a portal bomb. Hello. Okay. So a portal bomb basically bumps the portal to the other side of the wall. So as we can see here, we just did a portal bomb. It's pretty much a very standard road to here. Then we shoot the portal up there somewhere very pretty high, and the other portal here, so we can do a vertical wall walk to get onto this platform. Once we get onto the platform, we did a few ABH, and here you can see we actually increase our velocity very fast because doing the safe flow ABS again, like in chamber 10. I think this actually 3 or 2 safe flow ABS, and we just fly here and we landed on something. The something is actually an invisible room, a room of invisible wall. This is for the GLaDOS thing, like the GLaDOS cube. So we basically did a safe flow ABH at a very good angle to make us fly straightly onto this platform. Of course, we can shoot a portal here, but it's cooler to just move here, just fall here. The entire idea of the bonus segment is to look cool. And now we do a PBR and we just start drawing. So about the drawing part, how do we draw things? Now we have a portal very far away in the task is orange. Okay, the orange is here, and we did a PBR down here. So we're inside here. So this is basically an invisible room. And as you can see, if we pause, it'll clear everything. And if we get away from that thing. Okay, now there's nothing here. We can basically draw like this. This is basically done by in the option menu video. We have to turn off color correction and the HDR. So if we got color correction and HDR, it'll look very different. It'll look like this. If we don't have the HDR, it'll still look like it. You can kind of draw like this now already, but it's best to also turn off the color correction so everything will be black. And now we can just pause without any UI to draw. And for the test, it actually is set to the correct angle each take, so it'll continue drawing this thing. So in this case, we're drawing a foot, foot emoji, because that's kind of the mean in the portal server where we reply foot on random things. So yeah, and once we draw the foot, we do a singularity warp to the origin of the map. So just about went in that blue portal here and came out from this orange portal, which is very high on the wall. And since we're on ground, when we singularity warp, we'll be here. Yeah, we're in the forest room. So this is basically the room, and there's something as a camera set up, so we can have a large forest view in the parking lot. But it's actually the real forest. We can support out here, but that doesn't matter. We just need some forest. So in the forest, Jigsaw just wait for the screen to turn white and AVH into the forest. Then we continue into the IRL segment where basically Uncrafted record some of the video inside a forest-ish place. The original idea was in forest, but I guess this one is just a lot of grass, but it's good enough and it's actually pretty fun. Yeah, I guess that's basically it.
Yeah. That's it for the explanation. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the test.
Yes, thank you everyone. Hope you understand the test better now, hopefully.
Yeah. Alright, see you around.
Okay, see you. Bye.
Bye.